Oh, hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Welsh Bee Show. And joining me this week to look ahead to the new championship season and Wrexham's first game away at Southampton is Tomi Lewis. Tomi, thank you for joining me.
How you doing, Carl? You all right, pal?
I'm good. It's almost here. Buzzing for it, yeah?
Mate, it's like Christmas Eve, isn't it? It's unbelievable, pal. I'm walking around the streets. I'm speaking to people. People are asking me, "How are we going to do? How are we going to do?" And I'm like, I'm answering them. I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue how we're going to do. I mean, mate, I don't know what you're like, Carl. I'd take finishing one place above relegation. That's just the Wrexham muscle memory, mate.
But I think now with these new signings, some spectacular signings. I mean, Kiefer Moore, for me, he's instantly going to be my favourite player, I think, by default, because I'm a big fan of Moore. But for me, it's changed everything now. I think they're not fucking about, are they? They're going for it. They've really gone for it. This, for me, changes everything. The stakes are a bit higher. The goal is a bit more ambitious.
Yeah. Well, talking about the goals, mate, I'm hoping Parky's going to ask for the goals to be about 3 foot higher as well, like this season. Imagine that, mate. Fucking hell. I tell you what, my mate Rich Priddoch from Caracurlea, as we'd say, call it, Demi Kaika early if you're from Wrexham. He's like 6 foot something. He had a picture next to him yesterday, and he's like a little dwarf next to him. Keep him more. I mean, I've been lucky enough to meet him when I work as a journal down in Cardiff. I was covering Wales games, mate. He's a great guy, mate. I'm over the moon that we signed him. What a signing! To me, it's one of the biggest signings in our club's history. Forget about money, forget about things like that. Kiefer Moore, and like I said before, Carl, we're going to be taken to the field at Southampton with a team full of internationals. A Wrexham team full of internationals. That hasn't happened since we had Hector Sam, Carlos Edwards, and Dennis Lawrence playing for Trinidad.
Yeah, and but obviously he's played at basically the highest level, and they're not finished yet. I don't know what's happening with Broadhead.
Well, I mean, Nathan Broadhead. I've got a lot of friends from Bangor, Carl, and Nathan Broadhead's old man, Mark Broadhead, who I know, I've met a few times. He's been posting things on his Facebook. I'm pretty sure it's happening. I mean, Kieran McKenna doesn't want to lose him, but let's be honest about it. I don't like to say the term money talks as a socialist, and a left-wing guy, but money does talk. And if a player wants to go, the player wants to go. And Nathan Broadhead wants to come to the racecourse. To me, it's only a matter of time before he's a Wrexham player. And I've said this for a long time. Tim from Fears and Devotion, Andy, and all them lads, in a WhatsApp group of those guys. And I've said to him, Carl, I've said, listen, the one thing that's disappointed me about our rise, it's been amazing, but I want to see more Welsh lads. Well, listen, it's happening now. It's amazing. And we're getting everything we've ever dreamed of, really.
Yeah, I think we talked about it last time anyway, about getting more Welsh people, Welsh players in the team, in the squad, bringing them through as well from grassroots. But we always said as well, it's got to be on merit. It can't be sentimental. But I think these signings are exceptional. And but is it too many? Can he get them all in? Is it going to take time? It will take time.
He can't get them all in, can he? He can't get them all in. That's a really good question. It's a really fair thing. I mean, for me, like from the outside looking at, I don't know what's going on in Parky's head. But for me, Jay Rodriguez is, I mean, where does he get in? He doesn't get in anywhere. For me, he's well down the pecking order. He's a guy on a bit of money. Interesting. It's interesting, mate. Josh Windass has come in. Clearly, he's going to play. Ryan Hardy, he's not coming to sit on the bench. If Broadhead comes in, wow, who knows? But I tell you something. There's a lot of these Wrexham fans now, and even guys, we can all talk about new fans as much as we like. Even these guys who have been fans for years who are going, Danny Ward, it's not a good signing. On what planet is it not a good signing? Why would you not want two fantastic goalkeepers there? You can talk about who's going to be number one as much as you want. I think it's a Okonkwo, but forget about that. Don't worry about that. That's a problem for Parky. And people going, it's a waste of money. is it your money? It's not my money. It's not your money, Carl. Like, don't worry about that. Don't worry about the issue. Don't worry about finance. What I love is a bit like last year. What won us the league was the strength in depth. I think I said it last time I was on here, Carl. The strength in depth all over the park. Now, if you want to be successful at any level, strength and depth all over the park. That's what it's all about. And that's what we've got. Listen, we're not even talking 2 players for every position. We're almost talking 3 players for every position now. Incredible. We're going to be, and like I say, I still say I'd take finishing just above the relegation zone. And I would, because that's Wrexham muscle memory. That's just, my experience of being a Wrexham fan. But I tell you what, though, mate, if you take your Wrexham hat off for a moment and have a look at the squad without your Wrexham shirt on, without your Wrexham sympathies, and you look, you're going, this is a top 10 sort of squad.
Definitely now, not especially after these signings, which, I mean, it took a while to get good. Hardy, good player. I've said it before, it didn't really excite me. Decent, yeah, fair enough. But more, really, really excited about more. And over a 2-week period, they just kept coming. It was non-stop. They've done their work quietly, taken their time, and virtually everyone they've been linked to, they've got.
Yeah.
O'Brien, Connor Cody. I mean, these are remarkable players.
Connor Cody, by the way. Yeah. I mean, Connor Cody a couple of years ago played for Everton and, did a decent job. The other thing as well, I'd heard earlier in the summer, a couple of friends of mine who, in the know. We all know someone in the know. I mean, even when I was a journalist, I was never in the know. But we all know someone in the know. And he said to me, he said, "Listen, I've got a good authority that Wrexham are not here to make up the numbers this year. Wrexham are here to push on again." Now, that doesn't mean that we're going for promotion again. I think that'd be crazy. I think we need to calm down. I think that'd be crazy to go for promotion again. But for me, if we can finish in the top 16, 17, that's an absolutely incredible. What's our best position, Carl? Is it 14th at this level?
Well, in history, or what do you reckon?
I think it's 14th. I know 1978, first season. Under Arfon, I think we finished. I think we were something like 14th. I don't think we've certainly never finished in the top half of the Championship. We finished midway through the Championship, but I tell you something, we could be on course for our best finish in our history this season, which is crazy.
Well, I think definitely so. Now, I always felt, I mean, the top half or top 10 maybe was possible. With a bit of luck with the squad we had, I felt, because of the consistency, the momentum. I am concerned about taking time, but the quality is there. This is a much stronger squad now. And as you say, one of the best squads got to be in the Championship.
Yeah.
These additions have really taken it to another level. I thought it was good before, and we had a good chance of doing okay. Maybe some rough moments, but staying in there. But as you said, if we can stay in there, that'd be remarkable. And somehow solidify ourselves as a Championship club.
Yeah.
But I think they're going for the playoffs. These are playoff signings. This is the budget of 20 million. This is going for the playoffs.
I don't like to allow myself to, because as a Wrexham fan, I don't like to allow myself to think like that. But I think you're right, Gal. I think you're absolutely bang on, because you're thinking as a football fan rather than a Wrexham fan. Yeah. And I think if you realistically, these signings are top half signings. They are top half signings. These are guys, and I think most people on the outside of Wrexham, in many ways, I think are more ambitious than ourselves. I think, again, I go back to muscle memory. I'd be over the moon just staying up. I'd be over the moon staying up, but we're very, very lucky. And Parky, Parky, again. And I've got to say, Parky, people questioned, can Parky attract the players? Well, there you go. There's your answer. People weren't sure. People doubted him, his attractiveness. Well, I tell you something. He's proven them wrong on that. He continues to prove us wrong, Carl.
Well, I think obviously we talk about the takeover and the success that's happening, but Parky is probably impressing so many people with his conduct, his composure, his results.
Yeah.
You know, the way he's conducted himself, the way he's delivered. You know, is he the best manager in Wrexham's history now?
Yes.
Is it the best squad in Wrexham's history?
Yeah, I'd say
We go
probably
back
is.
to 78, don't we?
It's difficult. It's difficult, isn't it? Because we had some absolute cult heroes, you know, like before I was born, Cal. Not before you were born. You're a bit older.
No, probably not. No.
But no, I think.
And speaking of one of those, Joey Jones.
Yeah, I'd say very, very sad. I haven't had the opportunity to speak to Mickey. I'm lucky enough to know Mickey relatively well. I was lucky enough through Mickey to know Joey. Let me tell you, you know, I love Joey. Joey, we all love Joey because I tell you what I love about Joey is, even if you didn't really know him massively on a personal level, everyone felt they knew Joey. Because if you see him walking his dog in Ervig, or you saw him at the race course, or you know from my neck of the woods, I remember he used to run a soccer school down in Denby, and we all felt we knew Joey because the thing with Joey is his the personability. Forget about what he did on the pitch. Forget about he's a Wrexham legend. Forget about he's a Wales legend. What Joey did was he had a profound impact on everyone he ever met. And he would make you feel on top of the world. The first time I met him, I think I was about 14 years old. It was a Wrexham friendly in Colwyn Bay. And, you know, I had a lovely chat with him, you know, and I was with my Tide. And, you know, my Tide was in awe of him. You know, my Tide wasn't in awe of anyone. My Tide was my hero, right? Yeah. You know, my Tide had a great football career. He was, you know, for Denby Tap and whatever. But my Tide was in awe. To see my Tide in awe of anyone, and that was the only person my Tide was ever in awe of anyone, by the way. But the reason I'm saying this is my Tide was my hero. To see my Tide speak to someone and hang on his every word, because that's how I felt about my Tide. And Joey had that effect. He could command a room, he could walk into a room and he could talk to everyone. And he would talk to everyone. He was the most beautiful human being and the most brilliant man. But also, do you know what? Wrexham and Wales legend. Yeah. There isn't a bigger Wrexham legend. We've been lucky enough to have loads. Arfon Griffiths, Dixie McNeil, a million of them. Gary Bennett. We could go on forever. But Joey was the Wrexham legend, and you know, to lose him.
Young as well, really. You know, it's. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I mean, it's a sad illness as well. It's really, you know, it really is. Especially what's happening, you'd want him involved in this because I was at the opening of the club shop a couple of weeks ago, and Dixie McNeil was there, and Mickey, and you know they were both razor sharp.
Yeah,
and it's sad to see how one legend has unfortunately become unwell, and that's part of life, really. But it'd been great to have him, you know, with us on this journey. You know, there amongst it all. 3 spells at the club as a player, coaching, assistant manager, a manager briefly, wasn't he?
Do you know what? Manager briefly, everything that he ever did. But do you know what? You know, he did everything behind the scenes. When the club was struggling for money, he would do everything. He'd be involved with the kits. He'd do that. He'd do this. He'd be bringing the young players through. And you know what? One of life's sad sort of ironies of one of life's was the illness he had, obviously dementia towards the end. And you know, my family's been struggled with dementia over the years. You know, it's the sad thing because it's one of life's horrible twists of fate. Because Joey was the guy, like everyone says about Alex Ferguson, whether you're a Man United fan or not, everyone says about Alex Ferguson, he would remember everyone who was ever involved and ever played for Man United, blah, blah, blah. Well, that was Joey. Any young player, anyone, he remembered it. So one of life's twists of fate is that he got that horrible illness. Because Joey would remember everyone and like every young player, everything. And he was Wrexham Football Club. And listen, you know, whatever we achieve is in memory of him because, you know, he was one of these guys that without him, there wouldn't be a club. Because he did the job of 3 people. When the youth academy, he did the job of 3 people, and he did it for someone like European Cup winner. he could go to another club and he could command 3 times the money of what he's on at Wrexham, but he didn't do it for money. He did it because he was Joey Jones and he was Mr. Wrexham Football Club. He was Mr. Wales. Listen, I can't speak highly enough.
From Chelsea fans, they were amazed by him. He's so popular at Chelsea as well.
Yeah.
Even you know, everywhere he went, he made an impact. His personality, his work ethic.
Huddersfield as well.
Yeah.
Huddersfield very popular there as well. Yeah.
But his transfer fee, 210,000 when he came out the second time, I believe.
Yeah.
So 78 was there, round about there.
Did it stand until Ollie Palmer, I believe?
Yeah. And then since then, it's been broke multiple times, which is quite remarkable, really.
Oh, it's crazy, Cal. You know, you think about the evolution of the transfer fee as well. Yeah. It feels like it's being broken every other Tuesday at the moment. It's crazy. Listen,
I believe Joey's service is August the 20th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't think I can make that. I would love to go. Will you be going?
I'll be going. I'll make sure I'm there. 100%. Yeah. You know. Yeah. You know, it's one of them. I think it'll be a full house there. I think there won't be a dry eye in the house. And I genuinely don't think Wrexham will have ever seen a funeral like it. You know, I think you know, it speaks volumes because you know I've got a lot of friends from Llandudno who follow Llandudno Football Club, and you know, Joey was from Llandudno. For a guy from Llandudno, is 60 miles away from Wrexham. Yeah. But I mean, he was Mr. Wrexham. Yeah. He was Mr. Wrexham. But you know, I think Joey is all of us in many ways. I'm a guy from Denby. I'm from 25 miles from Wrexham, and Joey is exactly what Wrexham is. Wrexham isn't just a club for people from Brumbo, from Prince Egg, from Pedicai, from Ross, from wherever. Wrexham is a club for people from Llandudno, Caernarfon, Pwllheli, Denby. And that's why Joey resonated with so many people, because he was Mr. North Wales. He was Mr. Wrexham. But he was exactly what it meant to be a Wrexham fan. He might not have grown up in Wrexham. He might have been a Liverpool fan growing up. But listen, you know, Wrexham is the club for North Wales, and it's come back, and you know, and that's what Joey was, and that's what Joey is, and you know, we we'll remember him really well. And
Wrexham what he stood for. He'll never be forgotten. And I think you know a celebration is what we need. Yeah. I think it's a cliche to say that, but his contribution is never going to be forgotten. I believe they'll remember in other ways as well. They're going to name. I think one suggestion, very good, naming the academy after him. Yeah. There's going to be a statue. There perhaps should have been one by now, I think. There's not enough recognition, I believe, of the legends around the racecourse.
I would agree with that. What I'd say, I'm pretty sure in saying I don't think Joey really wanted a statue. I don't think so. But then, you know, I think something like naming the academy, naming the training ground, that would be really apt. I would name the Joey Jones Cup. I think would be amazing. That'd be an amazing thing to do. What I'd say is respect the wishes of the Jones family. Mickey will be able to tell you better than anyone. Him and Joey were brothers. You know, they might not be actual blood brothers, but they were brothers in every other way. And you know, I'm lucky enough to have got to know Mickey in recent years. I haven't bothered him since the death. I know Mickey's been absolutely really hurt by it. And, you know, but what I'd say is whatever you know the family wishes for Joey, I'd love to see something, because listen, we need to honour this guy. This is an absolute guy. I agree with you on that, Cal. By the way, I'd love to see, you know, for example, if Joey wouldn't want a statue, I'd Dixie McNeil, Arfon Griffiths. You know, these guys need to be honoured for what they've done. You know, Tommy Bamford. I know Tommy Bamford. You know, none of us saw him playing, but I mean, you know, his contribution can't be forgotten.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Joey Jones, what a person, and he'll always be remembered. I think what a person, what a contribution to Wrexham. Yeah, very sad. But full house on Saturday. I'm sure will they honour him on Saturday, you think, with a minute's silence or a minute's applause? Or do you think that's not the right time?
I would imagine. I don't know. I really don't know. Is the honest answer. I would say maybe the club would ask Southampton, but I think a more apt thing would be the West Brom home game. I would say we should. I think it should be something that we do rather than Southampton. I think we can do it better. I think it should be something that, I think we should really, the fans. If we haven't got a tifo, if we haven't got a flag, we should get that organised. I'd love to help out with that if I can in any way. We should do something that really honours Joey Jones, because there's no. To me, I genuinely don't think, Carl. I don't think there's any one person that I think this club should honour more than him. We've got a number of legends. We're very lucky. I mentioned Dixie. I mentioned Advon Griffiths, people like that. But for me, the quintessential Wrexham legend is Joey Jones. Simple as that.
It'd be nice if we can do some form of regular match with Liverpool or Chelsea, the Joey Jones Trophy or something once a year. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
That'd be amazing. Yeah, I think so. I think I've got to give respect to Liverpool. They're a club that they look after. And I fully expect. On the 20th, I think your likes of Kenny Dalglish, people like that will be there. I think they'll be showing their respects. Yeah. I'd be very surprised if your likes of Arnie Slots and people like that won't be there. Yeah, I would imagine they'd show their face. Liverpool are a good club in that way. Yeah. I think they'll probably show their faces.
Yeah. I'm sure they will. Yeah, it'd be nice to see some of his old teammates there. Sold out Southampton, 32,000. This is going to be the biggest crowd for a long time, I think, because even the games at Coventry, was that sold out? No. Sheffield United recently, they weren't sold out, were they?
No. I know for a fact that I was at both of them. Yeah, I don't think they were. Well, I know for a fact that Bramall Lane doesn't hold that many. Coventry wasn't sold out in the home end. We sold our allocation. So it is absolutely. Charlton was probably the closest. I would imagine it was the 26,000 at Charlton. I think maybe. But I think it's going to be the biggest league attendance for Wrexham for a long, long time. Maybe since we had 34,000 against Man United in 1954 or whatever it was. So that's going to be incredible. It's a shame. Yeah, but then saying that's 10%, you can't argue at all. But 3,000, I think. There's a couple of tickets floating around. I'm pretty sure most people who want a ticket are going to be there. I don't think anyone's going to go without. Hopefully, but mate, it's going to be incredible. I cannot wait, Cal. It's the atmosphere. I think it's a classic. I've got to be honest. I think we might lose the game.
As long as we give it a bloody good go. As long as we can go there and say we went there, we give it everything. Because, again, I think they're the biggest team in the league, Southampton. They go back decades in the Premier League. They were a founding member of the Premier League. They were the team I wanted first game at the racecourse because of their status. So they've obviously just come down. They're going to be hungry. They've got something to prove. But, again, a big, big club. And I don't know where...
They're a massive club, mate. And, they're huge. And, it's crazy to think, they've sold out for Wrexham. Don't get me wrong. In League One, a lot of the clubs were there. As we say every week, you're only here for the Wrexham. Yeah. Now, these clubs aren't here for Wrexham. But it's still a bit of a factor. I would say it's a bit of a factor, but we're in the realms now. These are massive, massive clubs. They're huge, huge clubs. And, we've got to go there with a bit of respect. I don't mean on the field. Parky will have him ready. Parky is a wily operator. He knows what he's doing. I think as fans, some of our fans are saying, we're going to do this, we're going to go that. And, don't get me wrong, a bit of banter and stuff like that. I love it. But what I'd say is, our fans need to remember we should be just enjoying the ride at this point. League One, fair enough. I said last year I was sort of I was thinking, if we finished top 10 last year, I'd have been over the moon with that. Don't get me wrong, but this year really, I mean, you look at that, Cal. You look at that opening month, and you're going. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about ability on the field, but I'm looking at the opening month in terms of names, the clubs who are playing, and I'm going. I'd take 4 points from the opening month. You know what I mean? Because it's the massive clubs. We're battling in a different place now.
But are we up there with them now?
Well, yeah, no, of course we are.
Is that getting ahead of ourselves, or are we now up there with them?
No, we are. Listen, if you take your Wrexham hat off for a moment and you look at the quality we've got in the squad, yeah, of course, on the field, 100%. But what I really don't want, and what I hope as a Wrexham fan is our fans just enjoy the ride. If there's gonna be a couple of times this year where we're gonna get smashed 4-0. Away from home, we're gonna get smashed 4-0, and we've got to take it on the chin. And I don't want to see our fans, for example. If we lose away at Southampton or Ipswich or West Brom or whatever, I don't want to see our fans booing them off the pitch or anything ridiculous like that. We're Wrexham, come on. Just, enjoy it for what it is. We're going to be fine. I don't think I genuinely don't think we're going to go down. I genuinely think we're going to be off okay. But at the same time, I do worry. I don't want to dig out newer fans, because I think there's fans that have been fans for years who will I think their expectations need to calm down as well. And I include a few of my mates in that as well. Lads who I've been going for years with, who are expecting us to get playoffs. They're expecting that. Just calm down, lads. We're Wrexham. Come on, we're Wrexham. We'll get there. But let's enjoy the ride this year. Enjoy these grounds. If we lose, we lose. Don't worry about it. Forget about the money spent. Just enjoy what we're doing, and let's be Wrexham. Let's not pretend we're West Brom, Southampton, Millwall. Millwall's not a great shout. Let's not. Some of these clubs are massive clubs. We're Wrexham. Let's remember that we're Wrexham, and let's enjoy the ride.
But saying that, though, I go back to what I said at the beginning, where I think it's all changed now. I had that attitude where you can just go and enjoy it. I always said 60 points was achievable. That would put us well safe.
Yeah.
But now I think things have changed with these signings, and I think the expectation is gonna change even more. We talked about just surviving when we got promoted from the National League, just stay in League Two.
Yeah.
But look what happened. Let's stay in League One, and it's just gone. It's just promotion after promotion. Expectations have raised. But these signings now, I think, have changed everything for a lot of people, including me, perhaps. You're expecting a tiny bit more.
Yeah, no, and that's fine. Expecting, fine. No, I've got no issue with that, Cal. No problem with that whatsoever. And I'm in the back of my head, I'm looking and going, this is a top 12 squad. Yeah. It's what I'm saying. I'm looking at that. But what I'm saying with you, Cal, what I'm saying here, I don't think it serves us well. If we're getting a little bit spoiled and we're going, I don't think it's good for us. I think we're better off this year having the mentality as a fan base, going to every game, enjoy it, just go there, enjoy it, enjoy the day out. Next year, listen, let's look at it and have a go. I understand exactly what you're saying, and as a football fan and as someone who I'm not going to pretend I'm a massive font of knowledge on football, but I know a little bit. I'd like to think I know a little bit. I would say that this is a squad that should be finishing in the top 14, let's say, of the Championship. It should be. But if we finish, let's say, for example, 19th, let's not have a pop at them. Let's not have a go. It would break my heart, in all honesty. I remember last year, I'm going to give a shout to a couple of my mates who've been going for years, Dave Cull and Nolan, Craig Nolan, who I'm sure a lot of the viewers will know. Good lads who've been going for years. Dave Cull talks a lot of rubbish. Nolan not less so, but good lads. So, but listen, we drew away at Wigan. It was a dreadful game. Don't get me wrong. That was one of the worst games of football I've ever seen. But to hear the boos, to draw 0-0 away at Wigan, as a Wrexham fan, to hear the boos that's not what I want to be about as a Wrexham fan. That's not where I want to be. If that's what we're going to be, I don't want to. I don't want to say I don't want any part of it. I'm really enjoying the ride, but listen, we that's not what we are. Drawing 0-0 away at Wigan and booing. The performance was dreadful. You can't get away from that, and it was really boring. It was a dreadful game. But I tell you something: if that's where we're going as a fan base, no, I'm not having that.
I think the problem may have been what was at stake. It was so close to the end of the season, and you know, automatic promotion was there, and it felt like we were going to throw it away. And that's what I mean. Sometimes the expectation is enough to make you behave in a, you know, where you wouldn't normally. You can't enjoy it.
That's a fair comment, mate. Do you know what, Cal? I tell you what, that's a fair comment, really fair comment. But what I'd say is, what do the players think when we're on the cusp of promotion to the Championship with Wrexham? And our own fans, 5,000 of us behind that goal, are booing. No, it's not good, mate. It's not good enough. You know, we're better than that. We're a good fan base. We're a knowledgeable fan base. I understand. Listen, like I say, we know where we should be. But what I'll remind you as well is, we lost 5-0 at Tranmere in 2000, and we booed and we chanted for Brian Flynn's head, and that did not serve us well at the time as well. We need to remember who we are with Wrexham, and we need to enjoy where we're at. But you know, at the same time, listen, I know Parky's football sometimes it's not the most easy on the eye, but I tell you something,
it's effective.
I know from following Wales, Cal. Kiefer Moore, mate. You can. He's brilliant in the air, but I tell you something, he can play a bit on the deck as well. He's not an Ollie Palmer that you're just trying to put it on his head. He can play on the deck. This guy is one of the best signings we've made in a long time.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. Yeah, and well, Palmer, do you think he's gone now? They've mentioned, I've seen Wimbledon rumoured. Is that on the cards?
I'd like to see him go. I'd like to see him go to Wimbledon. You know, I don't think it serves anyone well for Palmer to stay with us. You know, I think we've got Jay Rodriguez, you know, there as well. And I think, you know, Palmer's been, if you remember, for the first 6 months in the National League and for a long time in League One, what a player he was for us. You can't take that away from him. But what I'd say is his time's passed. Yeah. If Stephen Fletcher's time has passed, mate, then his time's passed.
So you think Moore would be the main striker, the number one?
Yeah.
Does Smith play with him?
Tricky.
Is that the best combination, do you think, for now?
I personally think Ryan Hardy. That's
one of those two, you think? Yeah.
That's what I think. I tell you something. It's incredible, isn't it? Sam Smith was great last year. To say that the last year, what a signing he was, by the way. He got us over the line in many ways. I actually don't think Jay Rodriguez was as bad as many people made out as well. I don't think he was great, but I don't think he was as bad as a lot of people made out. But what I'd say is, oh my God, we've got an abundance of riches there. I do think Ryan Hardy's your guy. I think Hardy and Moore, but Kiefer Moore is your main man. He's your marquee signing, I think. A lot of people saying O'Brien as well. O'Brien, what a signing as well. Yeah. But listen, Carl,
Hardy scored a lovely goal in the friendly.
Yeah,
How did you feel about that tour, Tommy? How did you feel about the tour in Australia and New Zealand? How did you feel it went?
I've said for a number of years now, Carl. I think we. Yeah, I'm not a massive from a football perspective. I guarantee that Parky's not a big fan of these tours. I absolutely 100% guarantee. I was lucky enough to go to Philadelphia a couple of years ago and chat to Parky when I was still sort of working for the paper, tail end of when I was working for the paper, and you know I had a good relationship with Parky, and he was quite honest about a lot of things that don't reveal too much, but he goes out saying he's a football man. He wants to. He would rather, I guarantee Parky would rather have a friendly against, Gresford Athletic or Clyde Welfare. That's what he'd rather do. He's a football man. He'd rather have Stoke City away, or like Port Vale, whatever. Like that's. But we are where we are. It is what it is. This is worth a lot of money, and what I would say also, even as a football man, Parky would appreciate that these tours enable him to sign 2 new players. So he weighs it up and he looks and he goes, it is what it is. It's a modern game. I'm not a massive fan. And also, you'll have seen a lot of the nonsense being spoken about. Oh, we getting carried away. What do we beat Melbourne in the first friendly? People going, oh, they're a good side in the A-League, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do well. And then we lose to Wellington or whatever.
I was going to mention the reactions. Yeah, it changed quite quickly, didn't it?
Don't worry about any of that. It's nonsense, man. I can remember Wrexham playing against, I remember, a few times. I remember we got a draw against Liverpool pre-season. It was 2005 or 2006. And then I think we finished like 16th in League Two. It's nonsense, mate. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters pre-season. But yeah, no, I'm glad you asked the question. Really, I think it's a necessity in the modern game, especially where we're at. We've got to go to these places, spread our brand, if you like. It's hard for me as a communist to sort of speak like that, but it's we are where we are, mate.
There was an article in the Mail. I think is it Nathan Selt.
Yeah,
he outlined a plan for the Premier League. Is that, do you think, possible? Is that going a bit too far?
Well, that will be the goal, won't it? That'd be the goal for the lads. I don't allow myself to get carried away. I enjoy it, and I'll be honest with you, Cal. My enjoyment of following Wrexham is the people, it's the fans, it's going to the game, and this is why. And not to go off a tangent. I remember, when Ryan and Rob came in. Obviously, I voted for the takeover. Yeah. There was a few fans who voted against it. And I actually know a couple of them by name. They're good friends and they're good guys. And I understand their point of view. I don't agree with it because look at us now. It's amazing. I understand their point of view. People get what they get from supporting Wrexham. It's not all about success. It's about what you get from supporting Wrexham. Now, my thing, I used to love going to Wrexham. Win, lose or draw. I used to, we used to get the X51 best from Denby. We used to have a night out at Wrexham. We had a great time. I remember one of the best days I had was when we lost 4-0 at home to Telford because we just had a proper laugh at how shit we were. And, we just enjoyed it. We just enjoyed it for what it was. And, Wrexham fans through and through, no matter what the result. Now, the reason I go off on this tangent is everyone gets what they get from supporting Wrexham.
Yeah.
I don't care if Wrexham play in the Premier League or not. I don't care what league they play in. I'll always be a Wrexham fan. But what I'd say is, it'd be fantastic, wouldn't it, to see us. Yeah. Most of my family, Carl, I told you before, Everton fans.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Wrexham play Everton in the Championship or the Premier League.
They might do. They might do. One way or the other, they might do. Yeah.
I don't care less. But listen, I'm a Wrexham fan. I'll watch Wrexham whatever league they play. I'd love to see us have one season travelling all these big grounds, Tottenham away, Arsenal away, Chelsea, whatever, Everton, Liverpool, brilliant. But I don't care, mate. As long as Wrexham, as long as we got a club to support here in North Wales,
exactly,
we can all.
It's a bit naff to talk about. It's a bit, jumping on the sort of this clickbait bandwagon, but obviously it's what is being discussed and it's becoming more and more realistic. It's hard to shy away from it.
Yeah.
Even though you see the articles constantly clickbait mostly, but it is something that's becoming a distinct possibility. And if you finish halfway in the Championship, you're very, very close to knocking on the door.
Yeah. Well, next, this is what they all want. All the media outlets are desperate for us to get there. And eventually, I think it will happen. The reason being is because there's so many people desperate for it. I mean, football fans are desperate for us to fail, generally speaking. But I think people in the media are desperate for us to get there. Desperate. They want it more. We generate clicks. All these people, you know, I worked for a couple of years in the media. I know, you know, how much we generate clicks. You know, we do. It's a simple, and that's what media is now. It's not about selling papers. It's about generating clicks, and they want us because, you know, all they have to do is talk about, oh, Wrexham are going to sign such and such. The Sun will use it as a headline. TalkSport will talk about it on the media. That's how it works, mate. Simple as
There's
that.
a lot of coverage on TalkSport, isn't there?
Massive, mate, massive. And they're clickbait merchants themselves. Everyone is. So what I'd say is there will be a concerted effort from outside sources to get us up there. Regardless of us, we won't have to do anything in some ways. There'll be a concerted effort from outside sources to get us in there. They want us. And the Premier League themselves, because, you know, they've got their own media channels that they want to service, so they will be desperate to get us in. What I'd say is, I can live without all that shit. I'm a football fan. I'm a Wrexham fan. I'm a football fan. I love football. I love my local football. I love Wrexham Football Club more than anything. There's a lot of what's happened in recent years that I don't love with Wrexham, but there's a lot of stuff that I do love with Wrexham that I absolutely, you know, I adore. So what I'd say is we will get there. I know we will, because I know the way the world works. There'll be a concerted effort from inside and outside to get us there. It will happen. I'm no doubt about that.
But eventually, does that story end there? And then we've served our purpose. You say everyone wants us there, and then we've been used. Then our story's over. We've done what we need to do as another club. Can they get that next club? We talk about Luton and Brentford who've done well to stay there.
Yeah, it's tricky, mate. It's tricky. It's a tricky one. What I would say is, you know, here's the thing: when people say, and you know, people want us to fail, football fans and stuff. But I say that worst case scenario, Ryan and Rob decide we've achieved our goal. We want to disappear. Worst case scenario, the fans take over again. Well, the fans take over a club 4 divisions higher than what the fans were in charge of before. Worst case scenario. It's not a bad scenario, is it? It's not a bad scenario. If you know, if that's what happens, you know, and we have to pick up the pieces as fans. I'd be over the moon with that. We've lived the dream, you know. I don't think that happens, because I think people, and I think also Ryan and Rob, what they realised, and they were very, very savvy. They were more savvy than anyone actually ever were. These businessmen who tried to screw us over, what they didn't realise was there was always the potential here in North Wales for Wrexham to ignite the flame, and for people to travel from all over North Wales. My Tide told me in the 70s, you know, he was from Denby, and that's why he was a Wrexham fan. You know, he told me about buses that used to come from Bangor, Carnarvon, Holyhead, Pwllheli, Porthmadog in the 70s when Wrexham were doing well. That's always happened, right? What these short-sighted idiots were, Jeff Moss, you know, Alex Hamilton, later than that, Colin Poole, Buttervan, and all these idiots who tried to pick at the bones, what they didn't realise was we've always had massive potential. Always had that massive potential. It took a guy from Vancouver and Philadelphia. Do you know, these guys have realised
they could have had something much bigger. If they weren't so stupid and maybe short-sighted, they could have had something much bigger.
100%. All it needed was investment. All it needed was a bit of hope, just a bit of upward trajectory, which is what we got now. And it didn't have to be Hollywood, guys. It didn't have to be that. Don't get me wrong. The Hollywood factor has attracted like 10 times as many fans as it would with just a normal local businessman. But all it needed was investment. And, you know, these guys had forward thinking and business acumen, mate. And, you know, these guys aren't idiots. They're absolutely so savvy. And they realised, oh, my God, this is a club that represents all of North Wales. Incredible.
You're back this week with your Men in a Blazer show. How did that come about, Tommy? Just tell us what happened there, how it came about.
Well, I'd take you back to the start, Cal. Like, you know, I was approached by Rog, back in 2 years ago. So it's the start when we were in League Two, and he came with this idea, and I was able to fly over to Philadelphia, spend some time with Rog and the guys, and it's incredible. I loved what they were talking about, and all the stars aligned in many ways, Cal, because I was made redundant from the Daily Post. Chester fans will tell you I was sacked. I wasn't sacked. I was made redundant. So yeah, get that out there. But no, the stars aligned. I was able to do that, and yeah, basically we've gone from strength to strength. I work with a guy called Stevie, as you know, who's absolute brilliant guy, and he's a Scouser, but he's a Wrexham fan now, mate. I've got to give a massive shout out to Steve. He's a close friend of mine now. A lot of people watching this will know Stevie really well. He's my right hand man at all the games, and he's a brilliant fella. So you ever come over, have a chat to us both, Stevie. He's an Evertonian growing up, but he's kitted all his kids out in Wrexham shirts now. So he said he never used to have anything red in his house, and now it's all Wrexham. So yeah, he's a proper Wrexham fan now. So I'll be with Stevie again this year, and we've gone from strength to strength. Cal, yeah, absolutely amazing. And this year, I think we're going to go better than ever. We're going to absolutely smash it. We weren't sure over the summer. We were waiting for Stoke, and we're Stoke are sponsoring us again. Obviously, Stoke Cold Brew. And mate, cannot wait to get going. We're going again on Saturday, and it's going to be amazing place in the Championship. I remember last year, mate, and you'll remember. I think you were at the game as well. Going to Bolton away.
I went there. Yeah.
It's one of the first. I can't remember if it was the first away game we filmed. I think it was. And to see the numbers of Wrexham fans celebrate, mate, it was absolutely incredible. I mean, Southampton's going to be another level again, mate. I just cannot wait. It's going to be.
So you contracted a number of episodes. You have to go every week. Can you pick and choose?
We're in the latter stages of sorting that with Stoke, but one thing's for sure. Last year we did 16 episodes. We're not absolutely 100% yet. We're just thrashing out the final details. But one thing's for sure is we're gonna be more regular than what we were last year, and we're gonna be bringing everyone, the latest, especially away games. I think the home games are great, and we like to bring different characters. I know Wayne in the turf has been great with us. Everyone loves Wayne. What a great bloke he is. Robbo as well in Vault 33. Rich Watkin as well with Fatbot. All those guys, they're going to be featuring once again. But it's the away games for me that I think we that's what we pride ourselves on, and trying to chat to as many people. So I always say if you see us with the camera outside the grounds, come over and have a chat, because be great to
chat. I will do. Yeah, that's the last thing you need, I think. But yeah. So how come they stopped for the? I know there's no football matches, but do you think they still want more content? You don't have to tell me all the secrets. I don't want to go too personal about their business model and private stuff, but I'm surprised they stopped for the summer. Do you think they've got keep churning out content? There's obviously news, breaking stories. Why stop for the summer?
Well, I mean, Men in Blazers. What we got to remember is they're a US outfit first and foremost, and they've had the Club World Cup, which has been massive for them. They've been covering that all the way through. They've had an Everton thing. Rog is a big Everton fan. Yeah. They had a big Everton night in New York as well. But one thing I'd say is they have since they got. I say they. I mean, technically, part of the crew there. I am. But what I'd say is they have been invested in the Wrexham story since day dot, mate, and it's massive over there, and Men in Blazers have been a big factor in that. I think a lot of people, the documentary, Ryan and Rob, of course, but Men in Blazers have actually brought Wrexham to a whole new, different set of people who otherwise wouldn't have seen it through Ryan and Rob, wouldn't have seen it through the documentary. So that's big as well. That's massive. The one thing I love, Carl, is I love what the feedback that we get from people here, because for me, I love to hear the feedback that we get in the US. Brilliant. And I've met some fruit. Shout out to Wayne from Boston. Jay, who I'm sure everyone knows, who does a lot of good work with the miners' rescue. But the thing that I love, mate, is that people tend to like it over in the UK, especially Welsh people, especially Wrexham fans, and that's important for me.
Yeah.
Above all else, mate, I want it to go
Understandable,
down
yeah.
well here, because people say you sort of you catering for an American audience, which in a lot of ways we are. But what I'd say, Carl, is for me, the first and foremost, I want Wrexham fans to enjoy it. I want Wrexham fans who have been Wrexham fans since forever.
But they're really well made episodes, aren't they? Do you sort of do your bit on the day and leave it to other people, or do you have input during the editing?
Yeah, no, I have input. I can't pretend. Stevie and his guys, absolutely amazing what they do. But yeah, no, input all the way, mate, 100%. Because I mean, Stevie knows now. Stevie's a naturalised Welsh citizen.
Yeah.
He's a naturalised Wrexham fan. He knows he doesn't need to speak to me. Will this go down well in Wrexham? He knows Wrexham. In fact, during the season, Stevie's probably in Wrexham more than I am, because I live in Denbigh. So Stevie's, he's a Wrexham guy, and he's a really, really close friend of mine, I've got to tell you. And anyone who's met him, speak to Scoot, speak to Wayne, they'll tell you what a top guy he is. But what I'd say is, yeah, all along the way, mate, I have my say. But I'm not an educated man, Carl. I'm an idiot who can talk a little bit. I can chat shit for Wales, mate, and I'll do
That's
it
all
all
you
day
need.
long.
That's all you need, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly, mate. But listen, that's why you become so beloved, mate. I remember.
Baffling, probably baffling. But how long have you had the post for? And what happened there? Just how long were you at the Daily Post for? And
I was
what
at the
happened
Daily Post for 2 years, so yeah, like I say, I was doing videos during COVID, and I managed to blag a job really. Andy Gilpin, absolutely what a great guy, really close friend of mine, Andy Gilpin, with the Daily Star now with Reach PLC. But Andy was the guy who he got me into the Daily Post, and I didn't have any background in that, Carl. I didn't have anything. I'm not a journalist. I've worked in factories my whole life. That's my background. I'm a working class guy. I'm not an educated guy. I can talk shit all day long, but I'm not an educated guy. And I was very, very lucky. I had a leg up. So very lucky in a lot of senses. But what I'd say is, that's how I got there. And I was lucky enough to do that as a reporter, covering Wrexham for a couple of years. We've brilliant now. We've got Liam Randall, who's doing the Wrexham stuff for Reach now. Who's 20 times the journalist I ever was. But I don't like to tell him that, because he's big-headed enough as he is. But no, brilliant journalist. And yeah, mate, listen, it is what it is. Right place, right time. I'm very lucky to be doing what I'm doing now with Many Blazers. But over the summer, it's been tough. I've had to work in a flapjack factory in Corwen, and I've had to do bits and bobs. I've been emptying people's bins. I'm happy to do whatever, but back to the day job now.
That's fair play, to be fair. But as you said, I'm surprised. I didn't realise you got into it kind of by accident. I thought it's something you may have aspired to do when you were younger. Would you like to carry on? Obviously, you're still doing bits and pieces. Would you like to try and get more opportunities? Or are they closing now? Are things changing? Is journalism changing, or are there more opportunities?
Journalism. I tell you something. I don't want to. Sort of put anyone off that line of work, because it's a very noble professional. I think. You've got to want to do it for the right reasons. Now, I think journalism. I was not very well paid. I don't think that's any secret. I wasn't well paid. I'm lucky enough with Men and Blazers that they pay me a very, very fair wage. I think I'm very, very lucky in that. When I worked for the Daily Post, it was not a great wage. In fact, I would say, recently I was working in a flapjack factory in Corwen, and it was much better paid, making flapjacks in Corwen. So that would give you an insight into the poor state of journalism. And I think that's wrong, because I think people, educated people, should. I think it's a noble professional. It really is. People who have got a thirst for knowledge and the truth. I think they should aspire to that. But I tell you something, it's not something financially that I'd want to do again. So yeah, that's my honest opinion. I'm a working class guy. I'll do anything. I'll shovel people's shit for money if that's what I have to do. I don't care. But what I'd say is, I am lucky.
That's a cracking attitude, isn't it? Maybe not enough people have that attitude. Some do, some don't.
Well, you've got to remember, Carl, there's a lot of bellends out there as well. So you got to
but no, like I said, I work in Mile of Foods.
Yeah,
decent job, decent money. I'd like to be doing something different. Maybe doing this full time, earning not the same money. But I earn decent money now. If I could replicate that doing this, I'm sure I'd love that. But you've got to do what you need to do, haven't you?
Well, listen, Cal, we've all got to earn our money. We've all got to pay our bills. We've all got to pay our rents. What I say, I don't think it serves us well when people have attitudes. Oh, I'm not doing that. Oh, I'm not doing that. Do what you're going to do to earn a few quid. Look after your family. And, like I say, as long as I've got enough money, mate, to go down and watch Wrexham and watch this journey that we're on.
That's the thing, yeah.
And have a few beers, mate. Listen, if I've got enough money to do that, I'm over the moon.
That's all you need,
I don't need to live. I don't need to live in a mansion. I don't need it, and I never will do.
Yeah. Okay, so where do you sit in Saturday? Because I think I'm in block 24. I just took the first ticket they offered me, the first seat. I wasn't going to browse around and lose position. I thought, well, I'll take that now before they go. Because I had so much bad luck last year with missing out on away matches because they were gone in the blink of an eye. So I just took the first ticket.
I've got to tell you, mate. I've got to tell you, Carl. I don't know. My friend is Pod Holland. I'll give him a shout out. He's a Llandudno guy. He's sorted my tickets. He's collected them tomorrow. I'm going to meet him outside the ground tomorrow, and then I'm going to get the train down to Southampton. I'm staying over. But no, I don't know. I really don't know, mate. But one thing's for sure. You know what it's like. Wrexham away. You don't sit in your seat, do you?
I was going to say the same thing. You'll be everywhere.
Sit in your seat.
Do you know what? As long as you get in there, who cares?
Listen, the amount of people have come up to me, oh, you sat in your seat. Well, I'm sorry, but 25,000 people are sat not in the Saturday. Listen, just sit wherever, Wrexham away, sit wherever. And I tell you what, enjoy the carnival atmosphere. That's what it's all about. That's
what we've got to do. Before you go, today's leader, there was a bit of a special supplement. They call it Reds back in the big time. Where we are back in the big time. It is the big time. This is really exciting stuff. The prediction in the leader is they're going to finish 10th. They've got Swansea finishing 14th.
Well, I tell you what, hey, you'll be the same as me, Cal. When we were growing up in the 90s, mate, Wrexham were always number one. The amount of times I've been stood on the cop next to Jacko and all the boys singing, "There's only one team in Wales, one team in Wales." Those days are coming back, mate.
Well, that would be lovely, wouldn't it, to finish above them? But it'd be nice to. I'm looking forward to those games as well. They're going to be great games.
I think Black Friday on a Friday night, mate. That's going to be a rough one.
And what's your prediction for the weekend?
Okay, I'm starting to bring things down, mate. I really am. But I think we'll lose the game. I think we'll lose 2-0. But listen, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it. No matter what, I'm going to have a fantastic day. It's going to be amazing. Yeah. Listen, 3 months ago, they were in the Premier League. We were in League One. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Sold out St. Mary's, a massive club. Just give a good account, or cliche again. Just enjoy it. I'm sure we will. It'll be a fantastic day for everybody. Tommy, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. As always, come back again and we'll get your reaction next week if you're available. Cheers, Tommy. Thank you very much, mate.